So I think what we see is a macroeconomic environment that is still pretty weak. The global economy has to digest the steep rate increases that we had seen last year, and that is still weighing on investments. But it's also weighing in some markets on consumer sentiment, most notably in China, the real estate topic still to be worked through. What we obviously have is continued disruptions, and it's not the one single disruption that typically creates the bigger problem. It's more if they accumulate. So we have an issue in the Panama Canal, for instance. We have an issue in the Red Sea. So that slows down the circulation of ships. And these are the things that build up, and I think there's some concern around that.
Should we expect higher prices as a result?
I think what we're going to see is continued volatility. If you look at ocean freight as such, the supply-demand balance is quite in favor of shippers. There's a lot of new tonnage coming into the market. But now we have these disruptions which can change the picture quite a bit. And I think people need to expect that. This year, next year, we're going to continue to see volatility because the sources of disruption are just very active.
I would like to ask you to describe in detail how much impact the tensions in the Red Sea specifically could have on supply chains.
So what practically happens, the voyage from Asia, from a port like Shanghai to Europe gets, depending exactly where you start and where you end, 30-40% longer. That's roughly 10 days. Now, first of all, that cargo that is on the ship is obviously going to be 10 days later. So there's some inventory needed to, for instance, have an inbound to manufacturing supply stand still working. But the knock-on effect is also that containers, ships, capacity gets absorbed in that. And if we have 2 or 3 of those events, or we have a change in the demand pattern, then we have issues like we've seen during COVID time. And there's just too little capacity for what needs shipping, and that then causes those spike in rates.
Some CEOs have described to me as this being the new normal. So we had this huge shock on supply chains during the pandemic. We saw a little bit of a rebound last year, and now we face the new tensions in the Red Sea. Is this just the new normal also for your business? Do you think that the volatility is just something that you're going to have to deal on a daily basis?
I do think so, unfortunately. You could also say we're back to normal. We had 30 years of exceptionally quiet time, exceptionally smooth ride, which people got used to. Supply chains got extremely efficient. We use factor cost, arbitrage on energy, on labor globally. We carry relatively little inventory. And that's probably not going to work that way anymore. Resiliency is somewhat in conflict with efficiency. I think people have to recognize that. And that's what people are adjusting to.